It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Mzansi, welcome back. It's another installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ching, ching, ching. Yes, so excited for this morning's edition because we are joined by one of our favorite chefs. Of course, it is Chef Clem. And this week we have been exploring plant-based foods in light of Vegan Month. And it's time to celebrate. So we've been inviting some special guests. And this morning we've got vegan cooks, Louise Janssen van Vuren and Isabella Niehaus. And they are absolute specialists here to serve us. So if you have any questions for Chef Clem, Louise or Isabella on all things in the kitchen, then join in on the discussion and send us your voice notes to our WhatsApp line. That's 0634088863. So let me first set the scene here, obviously with it being Vegan Month. Here's an interesting fact for all of you that want to be more conscious and want to give back to the planet. Listen to this. If you eat just one plant-based meal a week for a year, you'll save almost 1 million liters of water and cut greenhouse gases by 8.4%.
Wow.
How epic is that? Now, this is the equivalent of taking 60 million cars off the road. Just like that, one meal can change so much. Now, plant-based foods can easily incorporate and can be incorporated into your diet, and preparing great sides or condiments to flavor or complement your plant-based foods definitely makes it quite an easy way to swap things out. So we're going to get straight into this, and I cannot wait for the two of you to show us how it's doing. Firstly, let me find out from both of you, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much.
And yourself also good?
Oh, very happy to be here and happy to make a change.
I love it. And just on a fact like that alone, hearing the impact that we can make by doing something so simple like a swap out.
Yes.
It's not that hard for us, but yet it has such a positive impact on the earth. I know Chef Clem is just smiling there with absolute elation because he's like, yes, please. So with all these beautiful ingredients, all these colors here, what are we doing this morning?
This is a very interesting marinated tomato dish, which was inspired by a first little visit to the Isle of Capri. That is why we call it in the book marinated tomatoes or heritage tomatoes. You must just see the beautiful stuff that was sourced for us today. It makes my heart sing. It feels like my own potager in my garden in France. And that's beautiful. So we're really working with beautiful produce. But it is called a la caprese because of the island of Capri. When I was a young student, I walked there and they served these tomatoes in little buckets with a scoop of basil ice cream.
Yeah. Louis, when you talk, it's so poetic. I'm sorry. I don't even know what you said. I was just focusing on the body language and the scoop. That's so amazing. And also, can I just say, I've known Bella for many years. We've spoken about you since day one. And it's such an honor to be in the kitchen with both of you. Finally.
Yeah.
So I think, I expect me to be quiet because I'm taking this all in. Please, can you just, like, show us this magic of this amazing salad?
Okay, it's actually very easy. There's one that's already been put together, and it goes into the fridge for 24 hours.
Yeah.
You put it down upside down so that everything gets nicely
marinated. I like that trick of turning it upside down because of the air cap that's at the bottom, or at the top.
And it does, the oxidization, everything just works that way. So you just then, before serving, you take it back and you then start scooping out. But the tastes are show-stopping.
Amazing. So we've got some beautiful heirloom tomatoes for you this morning.
Yes, just look
and
at
I
them.
think this is also a great way to use up any leftover heirloom tomatoes or tomatoes that you have.
Of course.
Yes. I'm seeing something very interesting. What is this sugar?
That's coconut sugar.
Yeah.
This is our go-to. I mean, it's unbleached, it's pure.
It smells
Why
like...
one wants
it smells
to have
like
bleached
coffee.
sugar.
Can I pass this to Raul? Raul, you smell this. Smell this. It's not coffee, it's coconut sugar.
And just
yeah,
have a taste. It's beautiful.
100%. It's got a groundness to it.
Yeah.
Some of that, actually.
Yeah.
So what are the herbs that we're using for this marinade?
There's dill, parsley, the jalapeno,
Red peppers.
the red peppers, little bit of garlic.
Yeah.
But I also want to tell you about this. This sometimes just lifts the
Strawberries.
dish.
Yeah,
It's strawberries. And one of the most beautiful things that go with strawberries to enhance the taste is pepper. Freshly ground black pepper.
Never
So
thought of
what
that.
one does is to... I'm just going to do that. So beautiful.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
An interesting combination, obviously putting something sweet like a fruit with pepper. I've never, ever tried that before. It's quite an interesting combination, but I'd imagine the balance must come through quite uniquely. Let's try this out. Pepper and a strawberry.
So Louis, do we blend the peppers with the herbs together?
Just smell that?
Is that rose water?
That's
Yeah.
rose water.
With the tomatoes, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
So all we do is do that, give it a bit of a toss.
And the pepper, I must just say, I thought it was going to be quite overpowering and kind of take away from the strawberry, but it hasn't at all.
It really exhilarates and enhances the taste. And this stays exactly like that because we just serve that right at the end if we present. So that goes and it can rest. What we're going to do now, Bella, we're going to just start putting in our marinade to make our marinade, all the...
Could I use the strawberries with the pepper and the rose water as a dessert? Could I actually use at the top like a meringue or a curd?
Of course.
Because it looks so beautiful and it smells so fragrant as well.
Smells that good, it definitely does.
Do you know, in strawberry time in France, we would just do a big bowl of that, take some coconut cream, whip it up with a bit of coconut sugar, pipe it on top of the bowl.
Oh my goodness.
You're in heaven.
Yes, and you're also in France at the same time. Oh my word.
Also, we spoke about how healthy it is for the planet.
Yeah.
Think of your body.
Yeah.
It's even healthier for your body. So we're eating very healthy. It's good for the planet and it's good for the body.
It looks good. It's stimulating to the eye as well. Before we run out of time, of course, let's just talk through the rest of this recipe. We have obviously taken the luxury of fast-forwarding into time to see what the final product would look like. But just to run us through the steps, obviously you've got all the ingredients in here. You mix that all up, and then are you combining anything else with it?
Yeah, we're going to put a bit of...
So it all goes into the jar with the marinade. How long does it marinate for before you can actually dig in? Overnight?
Yeah.
And then how long will it last?
About 3, 4, 5 days.
Oh, wow.
I actually quite like it when it gets a little bit of a punch.
Okay, so after a few days.
After a few days, if you open the thing, it gives the...
Oh, it does?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Listen, Isabella and Louise, you guys have been absolutely incredible. We do, well, we are going to be continuing our culinary conundrum in just a bit, but we've got so much to get on the show for you, Mzansi. You can find this recipe at expressoshow.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. It's another edition of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ching, ching, ching! Yes, and we are carrying on all the magic. Of course, it is also International Vegan Month, I believe, so we are celebrating that and bringing you all the good stuff. Now, listen to this. Before we kick into the next recipe, here's some interesting facts for you to see how much you can make an impact in our lives. Now, did you know switching just one red meat meal to plant-based a week could result in a 23% reduction? That's 8 million hectares in domestic and international farmland use. Wow. That's one, just one.
Wow.
How impactful is that? So we're going to be carrying on and helping you to make a better impact. And this morning we are inviting vegan cooks Louis Jansen van Vuren, as well as Isabella Niehaus, to share more about their plant-based journey and make some easy plant-based meals that you can take with you and call them your favorite. So join in on the conversation and let us know what plant-based dish you have tried, and you can send us a voice note to our WhatsApp line. It's 063 408 8863. And without further ado, let us commence with the magic. Guys, I love that first session. It smelled good, it tasted good. It's something that I think everybody's going to love. What's next?
Fantastic. Before we get to Bella, I'm just going to finish off this marinade quickly.
All right.
And pour it into the...
Our beautiful tomatoes. I love the color of the tomatoes.
I was getting nostalgic when you were talking about tomatoes because I was spending a lot of time in Italy last month.
Yes.
And they are just besotted on their tomatoes. Tomatoes and limoncello.
You were spending time where?
What's that?
Where were you?
In Italy.
When did you go to Italy?
I was there last month.
You don't even tell me.
No, we went to like Meta and Sorrento.
I would have given you a shopping list. I didn't even know.
The tomatoes there are like godly, honestly. They love it.
And this comes from Capri.
Yeah, which is one of the islands quite close to the,
and
the coastline there.
It goes into the fridge like that, and you leave it. And don't forget to serve it with your beautifully marinated strawberries
Yes.
Yum.
and a little dollop of,
Yes.
basil vegan ice cream.
Yum,
Now-
yum, yum. All right, so
Bella
what's the next,
takes us-
of course, what's the next recipe here? Because I know Mzansi is loving all these inspirational meals that you're sharing with us. What's the next steps for these ones?
The next one is a samp risotto.
Ooh, yum.
So I think dabbling with, for me, Louis has been a vegan for 7 years, but for me, I'm just kind of getting into it. I love using all of us to use simplistic products.
Yes.
Like samp. Samp
Yes.
is such a versatile product. Well, you know that I love using samp. And I mean, you can do arancini, you can do the most amazing dishes of it, but people often just discard it as just samp. Who the heck eats?
Because it's become so traditional.
Yeah,
especially
samp.
in
It's
South
like
Africa,
maize
just
as
like
well. It's the
a
same
standard,
thing.
yeah.
Yes, yes. So I've started doing, quite a while ago, I started doing a samp risotto. So I kind of pre-cook the samp and the beans, or just the samp on its own,
Yeah.
and then I do it exactly the way that I would do a risotto. So first we do a little bit of oil in the pan.
So this is like a good hybrid of all the best
Yes.
of meals coming together.
Yeah,
to
and
create
what
another
you can do is you can actually add anything to it.
Okay.
We're doing it with mushrooms today, fresh and dried mushrooms. We've kind of pre-soaked the onions and the garlic go in. We've kind of pre-soaked the mushrooms,
yeah.
and we want to use that amazing juice.
Wow.
It smells so,
So
meaty.
good. Yeah.
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 And you will be mistaken for thinking it's meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of got that like hearty sort of
Yeah,
feeling.
Yes.
umami.
Yes.
That
Yeah, when you
smell.
dig
Yeah,
into
yeah,
like
yeah.
a meaty meal almost.
Yeah,
So
and the smell is beguiling.
definitely.
So you would do this like a typical risotto.
Okay. And I'm assuming that the sampa, was that like pre-soaked before putting it in the pan?
Pre-soaked, but it's, yeah, pre-soaked, and it can be a little bit, yeah, thank you, Louis. Pre-cooked, we can turn this down
Sure.
a bit.
Can I be your stirrer, Bella?
You can
I'll
be my
stir.
stirrer, thank you.
And then do you brown your mushrooms up before it goes into the risotto?
Not really, not completely, just till it's a bit translucent. And then you can turn it down, and it really becomes quite a slow process, like a typical risotto.
I know that you've got wine. Does that go in as well?
Yes, wine, of course. How can you cook without
Of
wine?
Louis, I'm just watching you over on the side. You're being very
turn it
attentive
up
to the way you're cutting up these mushrooms. Is there a specific
Well-
way to slice it?
There's a French way, and then there's
A West Coast way.
a West Coast way. So I'm going to now ask whether you want to leave them large as this or
No,
half.
if we can do them in half, Louis, please.
So which is the West?
Leave them. Oh, the half is West Coast. Full length is French.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I
And
got
then
you. But
we
obviously
can
using
kind of
another
alternate
ingredient,
the samp, the stock and the wine. And you just keep on stirring, stirring, stirring.
And with regards to the sump, what are you kind of hoping to get at the end of the stir, at the end of preparing that?
Well, it becomes creamy like a real risotto because
Okay.
there's still a little bit of starch left in the
Yes.
samp. You don't wash it to the extent that there's absolutely no starch left in it.
Okay, you kind of want
So
a little
you,
bit of that.
you
too.
get that wonderful creamy dish. In the end, if you find that it's not creamy enough, you can always add, say, about a quarter cup of almond milk, because the almond will also give it a nutty taste.
Because with being a vegan, obviously you've got to stay away from dairy, right?
Yes,
So this is a
yes,
nice alternative.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sure.
And if, for instance, you had to do the samp with, and you would add peas to it, I think you could add
Peas, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
beautiful
yes,
combination.
just frozen peas or fresh peas.
Yeah.
You can add a little bit of coconut milk because the peas already have a little bit of sweetness to it, but coconut milk might just make it far too sweet. That's why I thought
get
that the
you.
almond milk, especially with the mushrooms, will add a nuttiness
Neutral
to it.
profile,
Yeah.
Got you. All right. Well, it's coming together quite nicely over here. The mushrooms are being
Yes.
cut up by Louis in a West Coast style.
West Coast style, yes. So,
Being it local.
Yes,
Yeah.
trying
Sump
to-
is being prepared out there.
Yes.
Chef Clem, how's it looking over there on your
It's
side?
looking amazing. And I wonder, could I actually make this dish in advance, like ahead of
Absolutely.
time, and then kind of
Yes.
just like zhuzh it up again before serving to guests?
yes, yes.
Especially mushrooms have this amazing ability to, with time, to exhilarate and deepen their umami taste
Yes.
and smell. So a day or two would be fantastic.
It almost gets better and better. And look,
I like that.
It makes the most amazing leftover cookies.
Fritters.
Wow.
Fritters.
Yeah.
Oh, like an arancini almost
Yeah.
in a style and
Yes,
actually done in a
exactly.
fridge.
You- Yeah,
I love
But
that.
you deep fry it.
Yeah.
You do little balls and
We
you
like
deep
deep
fry
frying
it. Yes.
anything.
yes.
Yeah, or
Okay.
even in the air fryer.
Okay, some
Even
salt.
better. I love that.
And
All right.
white pepper. I'm a white pepper person, not a black pepper.
Well, while Louis and Isabella are carrying on with this dish, of course, you can find the full recipe at expressoshow.com. We're having too much fun here in the kitchen right now. We're going to carry on cooking this meal up, but you can find the complete list online, and of course, you can enjoy it. Don't go anywhere. We are going to have another culinary conundrum coming at you for our last part, so don't go anywhere. But for now, let's catch up with the rest of the team.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. Look at me smiling. Why? Because it's another edition of the Culinary Hotline Bling! Ching, ching, ching! I love it. This is our final installment, and we are going meatless. And of course, like we mentioned to you earlier, there's so many incredible reasons as to why we should look at meat-free meals, and not only for the environment, but for our bodies too. And listen to this, just once a week, if you were to go meatless, you can help reduce the risk of chronic diseases such as diabetes, cancer, and heart conditions. So it's not just the environment that we're helping, but our bodies too. And there's so much to explore when it comes to plant-based foods. These days, there are more alternative plant-based products than ever before. So it's time to celebrate and dig into all our options. And one easy alternative to make is cheese. Yeah, I'm talking about cheese, but a plant-based cheese at that. And before we get into the cheese, though, let's just finish off that recipe that we were working on earlier, and then we'll talk about the cheese. All right, so Chef Clem, Louis, and Isabella, you guys were doing something special earlier. The smell of the mushrooms what really sold it for me. It had this ground feeling to it, an umami feeling, and I think it just brought the recipe into the realms of magic. So we're finishing it off now, right?
Yes, so the sampan and beans has now reached, it's got a kind of a lovely creamy texture to it. I've dry fried the mushrooms.
You dry fried that?
Dry fried.
Okay, nice.
Because it's amazing, if you keep the pan really, really hot and you add the mushrooms to it,
Yes.
they have their own oils.
Of course,
Yes,
yeah.
and it really is. If you really want to, at the end, you can add a little bit of olive oil.
Mushrooms are amazing. They come with everything you need. You don't need to add anything whatsoever,
No.
right?
That's the
Yeah. So the
go-to
mushrooms go
for
in.
any vegan is the mushroom. And to forage them yourselves is even better.
And I think society and people in general are starting to learn more about the nutritional value and the power of mushrooms as a whole. And I think it's definitely going to be a big trend when it comes to cooking in the future.
Agreed.
Of course, with the options that we have, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, and also, the wonderful thing is if you mix fresh mushrooms with dried mushrooms, and nowadays you can find dried mushrooms absolutely everywhere.
Everywhere.
All kinds of different ones.
Yeah.
And then just to top it, some of the vegan parmesan
Vegan
cheese.
parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
Yes, that Louis is going
Which
to
is
show.
wild. It blows my mind, but it's something that I think a lot of vegans or people that want to enter into this realm of being a vegan, they're always concerned about
What about cheese?
what about cheese?
What about
It's like-
cheese?
It's like a staple in our meals, apparently. And there's no option but actually
Go nuts.
go nuts. What do you mean go nuts?
Nuts is
Okay.
the go-to to make vegan cheese. Anything from Brazilian nuts to cashews to whatever nut, even peanuts. Even if you don't have any of the nuts and you want to make the vegan parmesan and you've got a little packet of peanuts,
Yeah.
pop it into your liquidizer
Okay.
or your mixer, like that. This is another go-to. It's nutritional yeast, and that gives that yeasty taste
Okay.
to the mix. A little bit of onion
Oh, nice.
powder. This is, but better sometimes to use the onion flakes. I very seldom use white salt, but this
You use Himalayan pink salt.
or just taste a bit. It's
Nice.
smoked
What is
salt.
this? Is it smoked?
Yeah.
What?
It's one of my most.
Oh no,
Flavoursome.
you just changed a lot of things in my world right now.
I hope so.
Smoked salt. Oh,
And this
that
is a bit.
good.
This is not in the recipe, but I always add a little bit of miso.
Oh my goodness, yes.
What would the miso do? Is it just like a flavor, or?
It's a flavor again, the umami taste, and it also just gives that this slight bite. You can always add a little bit more. Now, one of the tricks about
Wait,
this,
hang on, is that it?
That's it.
Is that it
C'est
for the
tout?
cheese? What?
That's-
Gotta be nuts.
I did. It is like that.
Okay.
The only thing is don't over
Blend it or
blend it, because then you get
Paste.
a paste.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can do,
right,
and
yes.
it's fantastic, because what you can do with the paste, once you've done it like that,
Yeah.
you make a ball or a block, you put it in the fridge, and you then grate it over your, if you want long.
Oh, I'm going to try
You know,
that.
it's
That
magical.
sounds amazing.
All right, while you're grinding that up, here's a great opportunity for us to listen to a voice note. We've had so many coming through for this Culinary Conundrum edition. I don't know who this one is, but let's hear what the voice note has to say.
I wanted to find out that you guys go to culinary school to become chefs, or you guys are self-taught chefs.
I love that question.
All right, I
Yes,
love that.
beautiful question.
Answers from the floor.
Self-taught.
Self-taught, right?
Yeah.
I was a lecturer and a painter and a writer, and now I'm a cook. I will never say I'm a chef,
Yeah, I'm
because that needs some papers,
Yes.
but I mean, we cook with love and passion.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and
Chef Clem, you obviously have
Yeah.
had to go through some form of
Yes.
education, right?
Absolutely, but I do love working with cooks that are self-taught. I feel like there's a signature and a finesse that they have that wasn't taught in a chef school. And there's no reason why you can't just start learning to cook on your own,
Yeah.
or like exploring books, TV shows. Find your own unique style of cooking. Bella, you definitely, I mean, I've known you now for almost 10 years.
Wow.
You definitely have a signature in the way that you
Yes,
cook.
yes.
And I love that, just like immersing yourself in food. So at home, you don't have to go to school to learn how to cook. Just start cooking.
Yeah.
I think if anything,
Sure.
you should just start cooking because, I mean, like we've been shown now, and I mean, look at this, let me just try some of that now. What cooking really does, it educates you in terms of what you're putting into your body.
Yes.
And now more than ever, we need to be conscious and aware of that. So especially with what you guys are bringing through when it comes to these incredible sort of recipes and these ingredients that you have, I think it's a great way for all of us to get educated. We must cook our own food. We must
Yes.
get into these recipes so that we can learn, find our profile, and at the same time fuel ourselves correctly. And
Yeah.
I think what you guys are doing is adding to that, and essentially is why I'm so grateful to have you on the show right now. I mean, we're sharing all these incredible recipes, and of course, you, Mzansi, can get it at expressoshow.com, but there's another reason for you to get involved in these recipes, because we can share this with the people around us and educate people on how important it is to be aware and conscious. So, Isabella, Louis, you guys have been incredible. Thank you for joining us this morning. It was
Thank
so much
you.
fun having you in the kitchen. Chef Clem, as always, it's been a pleasure. And you, Mzansi, I hope you enjoyed this Culinary Conundrum. It's been an absolute honor to have you, to serve you, and you can find all these recipes at expressoshow.com. Enjoy.
Thank you.